What's going on, Workforce? Brian here, and in today's video we are finally ruling who won E3 2019. We wanted to give it a little bit of time. One of the things that I think is easy to do is do a hot take of who won, and sometimes that can change as either more information comes out or as kind of the hype settles and you end up finding yourself going like, well, was I really that excited about that announcement? And so we like to give it a little time. Thus, here we are. Now, in this video, we're going to be talking about pretty much each of the 5 conferences: Microsoft, Bethesda, Square, Ubisoft, and Nintendo. I'm going to give some general thoughts about each one, and then I'm going to give my final take on actually who won E3 2019. Now, whether you agree or disagree, let me know who won for you in the comments below. I really would love to know because there was so much that was actually announced here, and there's also so much kind of alluding to the future. I think 2020 is going to be a fantastic year, and hopefully we see Sony return to the E3 stage, but we don't know. But we'll have to wait and see. Regardless, let's go ahead and first dive into Microsoft. I was really impressed with this conference. I think they did a really good job. Ultimately, with no Final Fantasy XIV on Xbox, that is always going to be a big disappointment year over year for me. But what they did show off was xCloud, Scarlet, Phantasy Star Online 2 was a huge get in my opinion. And Halo actually looked really good. As far as xCloud goes, they had a lot of people come out and test it, and we saw tweets and different things about like kind of lag and latency. And at the end of the day, like, I don't think there's anything that will sell me on cloud except for actually personally being hands-on. Even if I go hands-on and I tell you like, wow, it works or it doesn't work, like honestly, this November or whenever they decide to release it this fall, that's what I'm really interested in actually going hands-on with that product as a whole. Because obviously with Stadia, there's going to be some competition. There's going to be some interesting questions, and hopefully we'll get some answers. Phantasy Star Online 2, yes, spring next year. Really cannot wait to finally be able to go hands-on with this game. Hopefully it lives up to some form of hype that I've had and have been missing Phantasy Star in my life. And then Halo coming with Scarlet. Obviously, I'm really excited about Scarlet, but I don't think they did enough or a good enough job selling me and getting me excited in the press conference on the next generation hardware. They've now since tweeted out things that the system should be doing, so that sounds exciting and interesting, but it would have been cooler if they dropped some of that stuff in the conference news-wise. Now, moving over into Bethesda, honestly, it felt fake and forced. I really didn't connect with the presentation at all, and that constant wooing and cheering from a certain section of the crowd really felt fake and forced, and we were just joking like, does he get paid every time he woos and screams? I think Bethesda, I don't know what the right play was. Their whole presentation kind of felt apologetic, that we're listening, that we're moving on, and I think if they didn't even tout that, you know, people probably would have been even more upset, but it didn't necessarily feel genuine. And that's where I'm going to leave it at that. Honestly, I was pretty much kind of bored. I was pretty much kind of done, and the wooing actually it really frustrated me. Like, I was really like, gosh, I wish I could just, you know, you're always hoping for some really cool announcement, and then it's like, I just want to be done with this. This guy, whoever he is annoying the crap out of me. So let's move on, dude. Stop it. Like, you're gonna get your paycheck. Just settle down now. So that was my thoughts on Bethesda. Now, Square, holy crap. Obviously, I'm a huge nerd for Square-Enix. Like that, if that's news to you, welcome to the channel. Hope you hit that subscribe button. Welcome to the workforce and all that. But Square, holy crap, I love the games. Obviously, we got a lot of remakes. 14's Shadowbringers, you know, like 5.0 launch trailer. Holy crap, mind blown. We talked about that already. That's just phenomenally epic, and I'm so excited about that. The 7 remake actually alleviated a lot of concerns. And when I was talking with Charles from the Aetherai Radio podcast, he says that he actually got to go hands-on with it, and it's that he says that it is probably one of the best battle systems they've done to date. So I'm hoping to really go hands-on with that myself, and then obviously as we look towards the future with maybe 16 and whatnot, that would be so cool to kind of see if they want to continue this action, tactical combat system. I can't wait to go hands-on so we can all kind of see if that holds true. But we'll have to wait and see. Obviously, I think a big exciting thing for me personally is the Final Fantasy VIII Remaster. Now, I'm happy to see this because I've always gotten to disc 3 on Final Fantasy VIII. I spent a lot of times, I had a console die, we lost a memory card. Like, my 8 journey has been one that I felt has been incompleted. So actually seeing them remaster this game, finally, I was like, you know what, now might be the time I finally finish Final Fantasy VIII. So I'm very much excited about that. Obviously, Crystal Chronicles and a lot of other really interesting games that they showed off. Now, some of the stuff doesn't necessarily appeal to me, but Square-Enix is a big company, and that's why I think it was really surprising to hear that they're only starting to now kind of think about this publishing subscription model, which is something I felt has been coming for a while, especially when you look at 11, 14, Dragon Quest X, that as they, like, let's say they ever introduce any more of these online games, it would make sense to kind of have a family subscription kind of plan in that regards. But we'll have to wait and see ultimately with Square. I came off of Square just really, really impressed. But there's still, like I said, there were a lot of remakes, a lot of these things where it's like we still haven't heard about like what the next generation's going to hold, and so them sitting on that until next year, I think, is a strong move. I thought Avengers was interesting. We didn't see a lot of gameplay, and I'm hoping that game is good. I'm really rooting for them to have just a really great Avengers game. I think that would be something that a lot of people would really enjoy. So hopefully the team is able to really kind of deliver that, and we'll have to wait and see. Now, Ubisoft, I couldn't find a reason I wanted to watch it, so I didn't. And then obviously seeing the news coming out with Ubiplay or Uplay, Watch Dogs, all of that, I was like, yeah, I'm kind of glad I skipped that one. I'm really glad I skipped that. And if you're an Ubisoft fan, I'm not trying to put them on blast by any stretch of the imagination. I'm just saying, like, I couldn't find a reason. I really was like, I gotta watch them. Saw the news and I was like, cool, that was great. I'm glad I didn't spend time watching that thing. So, preview, they're not going to win E3 2019. So anyway, and then with Nintendo, I thought Nintendo did a really good job. They showed up, they had some fun, but I remember Nintendo's presentation more for what wasn't announced. We didn't hear anything about Metroid. But for me, Secret of Mana Collection, Smash is getting the Dragon Quest Hero, from all of the Dragon Quest pretty much, and also Banjo-Kazooie. So those are two really big things. I already picked up the Mana Collection. I'm loving it. The Trials of Mana remake that's coming is fantastic. We didn't get any new hardware, but we did get a new Breath of the Wild 2 tease, which makes me say I need to go finish Zelda. I need to go beat that game at some point. So we're gonna have to put that on the schedule before they, eventually drop Breath of the Wild 2. I'd be surprised if it's within the year, but if they did that, that would be some crazy turnaround. And I'm happy that we're gonna see more than one Zelda game on a Switch in its lifetime. Who knows if we're gonna see some hardware? I would love to see more hardware at some point, but it was still surprising they didn't announce it. And then obviously Pokemon Sword and Shield, very excited about that for this November. So for me, like, the Switch is a great system. I love it to death. We play it all the time. I want to see more integration with Microsoft's, like Xbox Live, like the things that I would love for them to do in the online space. It still always kind of feels like we're 1 or 1.5 generations behind in online, and nothing makes it feel more like that than when you do play Smash Online sometimes. So that when you do even try to play locally, we were getting some crazy lag. Just me and my nephew RJ, who was on his Switch, and it's like, why is this lagging? Okay, let's just plug one Switch in the TV and play it that way as opposed to on each other. So who knows what was going on? Maybe it was the network. Regardless, I want to see more technical improvements with the hardware itself. So who won? Who won E3 2019? Now, if I was going to split this up into two different awards, I'm actually going to pick one. So there is going to be a winner. But just note here, if I was going to split this up into two separate awards, I'd say Square won it on the games that I'm most likely going to play with Crystal Chronicles, Final Fantasy, Shadowbringers 7, 8, and more. We didn't see like Final Fantasy 11 mobile, which was weird in my opinion, because that just seems like a game that it's like, yeah, they, like, is this ever coming? But maybe that's kind of what Square does now. Maybe like they're going to tell us 10 years in advance as to a game that might be coming out at some point in the future, and eventually it shows up on the door and it doesn't live up to the hype. I don't know. I'm not a big mobile gamer, but I still want to know more. Like, is it going to be mobile and desktop? Because that's essentially what I would like. So obviously that. We didn't get 16, but I'm betting they're saving that for the next gen systems. So I would say, like, on games, most likely going to be playing and loving Square One. If I was going to say Xbox One, I think they won it on their presentation. They obviously didn't sell me on Scarlet, but even though, like, the next gen system, I'm definitely going to get it, right? So they did sell me on Game Pass Ultimate, and it felt like there's a lot of that. And obviously Phantasy Star Online 2 is a huge announcement. I can't express how awesome that is. And the fact is also that it's now been confirmed that it will be coming to other systems, PlayStation, maybe even Nintendo in the future. That makes me happy because I hate seeing these exclusives. Honestly, if everybody just got rid of exclusives, I'd be happy with that. If they brought Halo to PlayStation, I'd love that. I think that'd be a really good, strong thing in my opinion, but regardless, that's just where I fall in it. So I'd say Xbox One on presentation, but I gotta pick one. And so here's the moment of truth. It's a hard choice because it's like there's a lot of things going on in here, but I think that both Microsoft and Nintendo did very well. But I'm going to have to rule and say Square-Enix won E3 2019. While I want to see, obviously, more titles in development, while I want to see what's going to be coming next in the Final Fantasy series as well, but we've got Shadowbringers, we got 7 Remake, we got 8 Remaster. There are so many really good games that they've got. Crystal Chronicles, Secret of Mana, all of these things that really, I'm just like, thank you. Obviously, Secret of Mana showed up in Nintendo's thing, but again, that still kind of relates back to Square, like everything that relates to Square. Ultimately, I think if you're going to sit here and say, well, how many points? Like, what was the one thing? It's like the fact that Final Fantasy XIV is not on Xbox, and they did not say that. Like, if they announced that, I think I would easily rule in Xbox's favor, but that's not the way that the wind blows in this case, so that's where it falls. I think this was a really good E3. This is a really good E3, especially when you look at it as it goes into as we prepare for the next generation of consoles. This is a really good E3 as we sit here and look towards the future. Typically, I feel like the year before they actually start talking about consoles is usually pretty drab. It's usually when the games, like we're talking about, like everything kind of shifts to where the companies want to start talking about the next generation, so they don't end up having a lot of games. I felt like that before the One and the PS4 was announced, that within that kind of year within the 360, it's like, oh, we really want to show you guys what's coming, but we don't want to sit here and shoot ourselves in the foot. I didn't get that this year. I felt a lot of things were really kind of ingrained in the system, and I think that's because of major hardware changes and major philosophy changes in console life cycles. Xbox saying the systems are forward compatible, where your controllers and all these things get to go to the next generation. I think that's really important, and I think it shows within the games that it's like, yes, like this is the way the industry is going, but we're not sitting here and getting rid of all the previous stuff. Like, your games go with you. They're going to go into the next generation. That's important because that means that as a developer, you can focus in on this generation and not sit here and shoot yourself in the foot for the next. Or you're not sitting here like, okay, we got to focus 100% on the next generation, and we are not going to release that game on this one. It's like, no, it gives them a lot of scalability, and so that's where that's going to, I think it's going to fall down. So with that, like, who won for you? Let me know in the comments below. Let's have that conversation. I want to know who won E3 in your eyes. And if you agree with any of my assessments or disagree, sound off. Let's have that conversation. But anyway, guys, that's going to wrap up this video for me. For WorkToGame, my name's Brian. Thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Hey guys, it's me, Brian. Thanks so much for watching this video. If you're new here, we hope you hit that subscribe button. Check us out. We talk a lot about video games, and we hope to at least hear from you in the comments below. We also try to respond to our comments. We really appreciate the comments, the discussion, all the various points of view that everybody is so kindly, I guess, and politely or impolitely shares with us from time to time. So anyway, guys, again, thanks for watching this video. We hope you hit that like button. We hope you hit that subscribe button. Come back for more content each and every day. We post a lot around here, and we'd love to hear from you about what you like about video games and everything, and especially if you have any questions that you're stuck on in anything. So anyway, signing off. See you next time.